Hello, everybody, and welcome back to College COD. We're in our final day of the regional qualifiers. My whole shift with me, Visions, brother. Good to see you. You still got that white and blue going on. We got to find some more colors for you. I think overall, you're always coming back with a lot of blue, which is fine. I like blue as well,
Whoa,
but
Alan. We're starting it off
listen,
hostile?
no, I'm just saying, we got to get you some kind of a
I'm sorry, not
fashionista or
fashionable
something.
enough for you, all right, Alan? I thought,
All
you
right,
know
man.
what? I changed it up. I got flowers back to back, but hey,
That's
all
true.
right.
That's true.
I'll start asking you to please them. Don't worry, chat. We'll get there.
Hey, I hope you guys had a wonderful kind of 24-hour break, if even that, as we're getting in, like we mentioned, into our final day of the regional qualifiers. If you're new to College COD or not familiar with what the regional qualifiers are, we've been through 9 weeks of our regular season in which the regions were split up between divisions, first and foremost, and then they were restructured to be a top half and bottom half. And now that we're through those 9 weeks, those teams that did not finish in the top 4 have a last chance to get a part of our top 64 double elimination playoff bracket that's starting this Friday. So for our first match coming up this evening, this is an elimination match. And why I say that is because if you win this match, you actually still have to play another qualifier match with these two squads. But it's going to be LSU, their purple squad, going up against the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Should be a pretty good one because, hey, last time these two teams faced each other, Visions, it went game 5.
On game 5, and I mean, we're always good for game 5s, Alan. So if we can kind of kick
True
things
that.
off going in towards playoffs, I'm sure that would put a smile on our face, and well, certainly one of mine. So I'm absolutely ready to get into it. It's a great look. We got to see some good matchups yesterday, so now getting in towards today, this is where the pressure starts to really seep in, right? When you talk about having to play these important matchups, already playing against a player or a team that you went up against in towards the regular season, you might have some notes, might have some prep, but it comes down to who's going to really show up on towards the day here for us. So it should be good looks, and we take a look at the map pool that we have as well. And there's not really like pure strengths for either team coming in
No, there's
towards
not.
a lot of these
Yeah.
maps. So I mean, things could really be up in the air in this best of 5.
Yeah, I will say this much, for it's just interesting because in the first split that we were talking about, these two teams were in the same division. They played up against each other, obviously, got to round 5. But Louisiana State Purple actually qualified for the top cut, whereas University of Tennessee at Chattanooga just barely missed that. So the second split's been very different for both of these teams. For UTC, they've been flawless. They haven't lost a single match when it comes down to them playing in the bottom cut of this Appalachian division that we kind of have in front of us. But for LSU, they struggled a little bit going through that second split, only finding a couple of wins here or there. So the statistics might not be fully representative of what these teams actually have to offer against one another, is really what I'm getting at.
I think that's a fair point. I mean, when you're just looking at the stats that we kind of have to offer for LSU, you're looking at it and you're not seeing really a whole lot of strength within the response, right? I think that's one of the big factors for them. But, a lot of those kind of dips that they've had in towards, the second phase for us going through the regular season, has now come from that. So you have to
Right.
look for improvement in towards the hard point and controls. S&D is not too bad. That's the only one that they actually do have positive here for themselves. So at least you have something maybe to rely on going in towards the map too. But I think I'm individually looking to see if they can bring something here for us heading in towards this map number 1 and the control, because you're going to have to come away with a couple of respawns here at the very least up against a squad that we feel like at times can be very punishing. So this
Right.
UTC squad might be able to pull out something for us and maybe bring some of that punishment that they were doing in that second phase of the season.
Right. And just kind of looking back to where these teams had played each other prior, very similar map set. At least for the first two maps, they're exactly going to be the same. You've got the Garrison Hardpoint, the Moscow Search and Destroy. Last time these two squads had played one another on this first two maps, it was a 250 to 216 favoring the University of Tennessee Chattanooga, and then a round 11 win for LSU. So, very tight maps for the first two without question. And honestly, beyond that, the entire series was really, really close. So we'll see
Sure.
what these teams have been able to improve upon. And I think one of the largest things we've talked about when it comes to teams that just squeak into that top cut and then get beat up a little bit is how good were they getting as they were playing through some of those teams. And for LSU Purple, when it comes to the Appalachian region, they have taken maps off of almost every single top team that's in this region. So they've definitely showcased that they deserve to be in the top cut. And maybe beyond that, they could potentially be a favorite here, even though when they, again, last played, it was a map 5, just barely squeaking it out.
It's very possible too, because when you're also thinking about who they're scrimming against and where they're getting the practice in, it
Sure.
likely is maybe against maybe some of those teams that they are playing in that division, right? So when you're constantly playing against tougher opponents, like you're naturally going to get better as the season goes. That's just how things work. And I mean, that is, I think, a really strong point to bring up for that simple fact, where it's like you're looking at these guys, you're prepping for them for UTC, and you're like, oh, we got this one. We played them earlier on, but hey, well, listen, they might have been actually getting some good practice in. The results might not fully show it in their actual game. games, but come game day up against you, they might be able to bring it here. So, I mean, that's also, I think, a pretty critical factor to come in with, knowing that you can go up against a squad that can show some strengths here and might be
Sure.
able to take you by surprise.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting, but we're about ready to get going here for this first Garrison hardpoint. So we'll see kind of if there has been any of those learning and adjustment periods coming out for either of these two teams, and if those improvements have been steep enough. And it's just really interesting because I think at a certain point you're looking at the mocks for University of Tennessee Chattanooga, and you're probably feeling a little bit bad that you weren't quite able to get to that top cut. And you again, you look through their match history. It's 3-0s every single series they played in split two. We're on the other side, like we continue to mention for LSU Purple. Sure, not as many wins, obviously, but they were able to still take good maps off of a couple of really great teams that are in that division. So I don't know. I'll be really interested to see. And I think what I'm leaning towards here is Chattanooga really prepared to play another middle to top team in this region again? That's the whole thing. You know, when you've got a team that's looked so good in the bottom cut, it's been 3-4 weeks since you've played another major squad in your region, at least by the schedule, right? You like you mentioned,
Yeah.
scrimming could be something different, but are they going to come through and actually be ready to play up against a team that's actually their same level or maybe a little bit better than that?
I think that's the question. I mean, it's really tough to judge because we're not going to know until we get in towards the game to kind of see how they're actually matching up against them. But you have to mentally prepare yourself for that too, going through, all of that process through the regular season and leading up towards this as well. So it could be kind of a build up. And I mean, at the same time, like I said earlier, like they might be able to surprise us. We just don't know. And
Sure.
that's, I think, the idea of when you have these teams who are practicing, are putting in the time, are scrimming and doing everything they can to kind of get back up towards what could be a top spot in towards their group or at least be a contender in towards playoffs. It's these moments, it's these matches, I think that start to open the eyes of some of the other teams that they're going up against, like, all right, like we actually got to prepare for these guys because
Sure.
we've seen it before where it's like we got an easy matchup here. We're going to prepare heavily for the next one, already assuming we're going to kind of move on in towards the bracket. And then they sometimes just get whitewashed and they're just not expecting it whatsoever. And that's something that we've seen not only in CCL, but of course through multiple different occasions in the Call of Duty scene. So I mean, that's something to keep in mind as we get in towards this one here, is that we just don't really know what either team's going to bring to the table. And it's just a lot about what I think we're going to see in this first match on Garrison.
Yeah, just kind of to talk about the players specifically, I think we kind of have to turn our attention to a couple of different ones on either
Sure
side.
do.
For LSU Purple, watch out for Critical because on every single game mode he has played above a 1.3 KD. And that's really, really good considering he's played
Disgusting.
again versus a number of great teams that we're looking at in this Appalachian region saying that they could potentially be a top 8 playoff team overall. So I'm interested to see what Critical brings to the table. I'll be candid. I have not had a chance to actually watch this team play specifically, not this year, but we did see this team play a couple of times last year. And if I remember correctly, they were on the fringe of being able to make playoffs and coming just a touch short in what was a Southeastern division that was stacked. I mean, that
Yeah,
was by far
very
the most
stacked.
difficult region we had during the Modern Warfare year. So a lot of those players are coming back, and hopefully it will lead to some more success for them to get to those playoffs this year.
That's exactly it. I'm glad you actually brought that up as well, because I remember that now too, where LSU were playing pretty tight and getting in towards, what could have been a playoff spot. So never know what's going to happen now this time around, but they have a shot to be able to kind of make some waves going in towards playoffs. But ladies and gents, first match, it's here. We are loaded in LSU Purple up against UTC COD. Who's going to be able to get the best of each other off in towards this first match?
Good couple of opening kills here for LSU. We'll be able to take the hard point immediately with those as well. Very passive start here for Chattanooga. And as they're trying to figure out what exactly they want to do to get onto this hard point, they're getting cut up. Stafford's already made his way into lights. It's not a position you want to give away so quickly. And for UTC, their only avenue of approach really is to come from the top of green and hope that Abel could sneak behind this play and pinch, which is exactly what he's trying to do. But it's read beautifully by Martini, who finds the first kill, Petrov another. And that will be the first 30 seconds, looking very solid for LSU.
See this. I mean, this much time going over on towards P1, very passive setup. So now you have to convert on P2, right? Like you need to be here. And there's actually a strong chance that they could even break in towards the spawns and maybe even flip things out going in towards P2 Hill. So very critical situation right now for the side of UTC COD. They can in fact bounce back. Big shots there in towards the back of the spawns. Going to be held. And that's what you wanted to see. They will wipe just about everyone out. One more player in towards the back, but at least they're here with the numbers.
Required gunfight wins right there for Chattanooga. So the first 15 seconds will be good for UTC. Onto the second hill. Seabones trying to do what he can to make sure the top side of green stays safe, but did not have a lot of help. Slim trying to work his way through bricks, but gets cut up, and that will be the spawn flip, and with that, the hard point break. LSU looking solid 55 and 11, and Martini is just soaking up hard point time, working for this first streak. That 7th kill will not just earn him the lightning, or pardon me, the artillery, it also gets him the cruise missile as well.
The fact that he's 7-0 and has a minute of hill time, I mean,
Yeah.
says it all, right? Like, he is literally doing the objective while getting kills and getting streaks here, creating a pretty nice advantage for you as you go throughout this garrison. And I mean, I would be interested to see if you look to use the streaks going in towards this hill. This is a very good opportunity to try and maybe pull out a cruise missile, see if you can get your teammates close and pushed up in towards the back of the spawns, and then call that in and make that hit happen. We'll see if that will be the call made. So far, nothing has come out. Everyone for LSU Purple, though, has started to get close on the collapse, and Martini here with the streak himself will come right through tools, land some shots, but Slim with a 3-piece. That's going to slow things down drastically, but Martini says, that's fine, hold that. I got a 2 of my own, and I'm right back in the time.
Double digits, 10-0 start, looking for 11. T-Bone's finally dropping him, but my goodness, it's just, even the setup while you're going through that for UTC is just, they're paying too much respect to LSU. There are 3 members that were kind of, if you draw a north to south line, right past those generators, that little bottom box on the bottom right side of the map, that's where they were set up. There's only, the furthest forward player was on the hard point. Like, you've got to do a little bit more when you're trying to zone and control space if you're UTC, and it allows for LSU to get through, break, find the scrap time, and now their lead grows to about 80 points. And it comes down to, can UTC find any success here underneath the tank?
All 3 of them go down as soon as this hill pomps as well. So this puts Slim in a pretty difficult situation. You can already see it. He's under fire. 10 HP towards his name. He tries to take the challenge at top. Critical to get some great help. And then it's going to be Petrov for 2. Shutting things down. Still Martini only with 1 death as we move through the 4th hill on this first rotation. Unbelievable. You're just seeing how difficult it is for anyone really to move out, and they're not really doing it together. Everyone playing pretty split, but I mean, this is a lot of hill time going over. Like, at some point in timeout, you got to force the engagements and try to get on towards the time, and they do that a little bit scattered, and because of it, this time is just all gone over towards LSU.
Yeah, Martini is on another 4 in a row. Will eventually drop Slim on 10 HP, finally taking care of him, but doesn't seem to matter if it's vodka-based, gin-based, shaken, stirred, olives, lemon twist, doesn't matter. Martini's coming through strong right now. And at 14 and 2, you have to put him, you have to find some sort of a response. That's just what it comes down to at the moment for Chattanooga. Even right now, look how passive they're playing. You've got 3 players that are sitting in and around bricks, just barely into the hard point. I would love to see them get a little bit more aggressive, because now all of a sudden Martini's playing in the back. He's going to read that a player is coming off of his top side spawn, and that'll be an easy pinch up, and LSU should have flipped the spawns off of that play single-handedly.
Well, right away, the break is in. Abel, what can he do inside of the point? Finds himself 1, but under pressure. That's going to be critical from the side. Easy pickup, but Slim and C-Bones, they do answer back with some kills. So finally starting to see a little bit more white pour in towards that feed in the bottom left-hand corner. Trip's going to make his way in towards the back, maybe come in behind for a pinch. And well, his teammate clean up just about everyone. The one last player left alive, and Petrov does manage to clean up 2, but there it is. And actually Petrov just get 3. So Trip's a little delayed on towards the flank. It does in the end work out, as it looks like the scrap time should be collected for UTC COD.
You know, the thing about it is, they're not down to a point where this is not still winnable for UTC. They just got to start playing a little bit more proactively. I mean, you just cannot be setting up passive like they have been. You know, get these power positions and then use them to your advantage as you're trying to move across the map, because Garrison's all about spawn manipulation and trying to find a way to keep that middle of the map always a constant for you. And how about it? C-Bones, Trip, Slim, all coming away with individual kills. UTC really starting to wake up now as they close this gap to just underneath 70 points.
Maybe they just needed to warm up balance, had to get some gunfights going, and maybe they're ready to go, or hey, maybe I'll cast a curse them, and maybe that won't be the case either way. Abel in towards the middle of the map, has to try to cut down some numbers if he can, and really focusing on this rotation is going to be one of the big problems, because LSU Purple, they're actually controlling that, but player 5 does manage to spawn in from behind, so there's a chance to be able to play for the spawns, and not only that, but actually collect this scrap time on P1. So a good moment for them, but Slim unable to find any value in towards the back of bricks. So now you have to get here as a collective for the side of UTC COD once again, try to break through, and they're going to do it through the front, which is a little bit bold, and right away half the team is cut down.
Yeah, just as soon as UTC were starting to find some strides, their legs get cut from underneath them. Look at the setup here for LSU. 2 players really kind of biding their time over through top. You've got Petrov watching from middle. He's going to have support from critical. So Stafford, as he finds his 4th straight kill, continues to play this bottom heady onto the point, sees a number of players up top, and seems to want to actually take the challenge. He's got help to his right that'll still be on the hard point with him. But UTC, again, it's just every single moment they have a setup. Like, this is a setup, like, go. You got to make a move right now. You've got to hit them from behind. And as they try to make their play forward, Stafford is able to find 6. Critical looking for the assist on the double up, but help will be there off the proximal spawns, and LSU will get above the 200-point mark.
And now this is time you just can't really give over, but you're forced to kind of rotate across the map. And I think they're also going to lose their teammate out. Yeah, it spawns out, and that's probably going to be a second spawn out as well. So you start to look at what's currently happening in towards this P3 rotation. It's already not looking great for UTC COD. Numbers in towards the back are here. One gunfight in the hill, able to win it. But will it be enough? Because they don't control the spawns. The spawns are in for LSU purple, and well, they can just look to funnel on through as they have themselves a nice lead and can still end things here.
Yeah, and the numbers will start to overlap. Abel is going to have to find a pretty special moment. Really smart for him to back out. Although it's actually because the artillery trick is called, it's a bit surprising to see that coming through. Doesn't find any eliminations. Abel on 4. This is not bad at all for Chattanooga. Gonna have to be more than that, though. And how about number 5? 6 and 7 coming around. Jenny's here in a moment, but there's going to be help this time. And honestly speaking, from a hold from the front, this has gone pretty well for the Mox. Abel trying to cut the cross to the other side of the hard point. That will eventually be the end of him. Slim in the back, the last member for UTC to be alive, and it's only for an abbreviated amount of time. That will mean that LSU will be above the 230 mark. They cannot win here, but they will be within about 5 seconds if they find every single second here.
Oh, this is just, I mean, the position every team wants to be in for hardpoint, and LSU here being able to maybe even close it out for us. T-Bones would have to get turret up top. He's good for the first one, but just 2 HP to his name. As he tries to stop this push, they will be overwhelmed in towards the top green. And well, with the kills coming in, Petroff on 5 and Streaks following with the other sub players, LSU purple, they get themselves in the time and they will grab the win here on Garrison Hardpoint.
It just felt like it took too long for the Mox to warm up. I mean, you said it yourself there, it kind of in the beginning or in the middle of that second rotation, like, hey, this is starting to come back forward. And this is what I was mentioning, at the top of the show, where I was talking about, look, you remember that for UTC, they have played up against a bunch of teams that were underneath them, I think is probably what they felt, because they were only a match or so away from being the team into the second cut. So in the last 3.5, 4 weeks, they haven't played anyone better than them. At least that's what the results would say. I mean, none of the matches have been close. It's all 3-0s for them in that second split, playing in the bottom half of the region. For LSU purple, sure, they maybe only won 2 games overall in their second split, but they're playing in the top half of the region, and they're playing up against some big favorites to make some waves in playoffs. So you learn a lot about yourself when you're playing these contested games and you're either getting beat around or you're finding a way to keep maps close. And to be fair for LSU purple, as mentioned, not only were they keeping maps close versus some of those big teams, they were beating some of those squads on certain maps. So there definitely feels like those last 3 weeks have led to a different style of gameplay. UTC just kind of coming out very passive, very apprehensive. And once they started to realize, hey, we got to start making some plays, that's when it felt like their game plan was starting to come to life. It was just a little bit too late.
It was too late. And well, the bad news is that was also their best game mode. UTC COD, right? They looked great in towards the hard points. Now they're going towards their weakest game mode, where this feels like LSU have actually been pretty good for as far as, some of the tougher matchups in that bracket, and have probably got a good amount of practice in towards this as well. So this is a really good position to be in. I feel like if you are LSU, not only did you come away with a big win, but it feels like there's maybe even a lack of confidence because of no aggressive plays coming out and no one really stepping up as well here for the side of UTC COD, which is going to cost them drastically in that very first map. Now you need to see that change going in towards what will be our map number 2, and hopefully seeing what they might have prepped, because before they did play each other on Moscow, so you have to be at least familiar with maybe some of the spots that they did play up against you with. Might have been a long time ago, so maybe not going to be as easy to remember all of them, but having a general idea at least is a start here, because this is a big map number 2 for you to come away with.
Have to win it in a certain extent, I think, is what we're kind of framing up here. In just to kind of keep it in the back of your mind, this is an elimination match, so the winner of this one still has to go forward, and they would play up against Florida State's gold team, which is technically their second squad, but they're pretty good. So there's a lot left to be desired, I think, when it comes down to not only what Tennessee Chattanooga is showing us right here, but if they were to find a way to upset LSU purple, a team that had beat them prior, can they actually have enough in the tank to go and play up against an even better opponent than what they're currently playing up against? It's not an easy track getting through these regional qualifiers. And I think on the other side, you want to see something from LSU purple. come out, find yourself a clean win here, because then we can at least give you the conversation pointing the gas like, all right, maybe you do have a chance to upset that Florida
Sure.
State Gold team if you were to find a way to beat this Chattanooga squad in a quick fashion.
And I could just almost see them coming in towards this matchup and just purely looking to, just play aggression, just overwhelm them, right? Because if you can
Right.
already see with the way that they're playing in towards the map number one, where it feels like they're taking a long time to set up their breaks, maybe that's because there's a little bit of discomfort. One, playing on stream, right? Brought that factor up yesterday. Maybe you're not totally comfortable for as far as what you're getting into. Two, maybe not having the best amount of practice either. So there's a lot of factors, I think, playing in towards what we currently have going in for us. And this is just maybe a chance for LSU Purple just to come out here, Alan, and just go swinging, man. Just bring it in, just do commitment plays together, and you might be able to overwhelm a lot of these offensive rounds, find the bombs down, and just always create man advantages. Because if UTC COD either don't match it or don't find a way to counter it, it's very likely that they might lose a lot of rounds being their weaker game mode. Adaptation maybe hasn't been a factor for them, but as I said before, it has to be here, right? You need to find this map win, and having something prepared is maybe your best shot at being able to come away with a win.
Remember, it was around 11 last time these two teams played back in week number 4. It's a long time ago that they played each other, but it was around 11 win for LSU Purple. So just to kind of throw that statistic out there. For the Moscow Search and Destroy overall for LSU, they technically do have a losing record on it, but they're 3-4 overall, one of their more rehearsed maps through and through. And for the other side, that is indeed the case. And even 5-5 for UT Chattanooga. And that's by far their most search and destroy map that's been played. I mean, not even close. The next closest is what, Garrison? They've played it 3 times. So a total 7 extra reps on Moscow. So this kind of re-hitting and kind of knocking the point out of the park here. Got to win this map. It's your most played search and destroy. Got to come through and show us exactly what you've been able to learn over the course of the regular season against now this LSU Purple team who's standing in your way.
And I'm hoping teams are also like starting to figure out what TDL teams are doing and realizing just how pivotal the middle of the map is, at least giving yourself options, right? Like this is something I think that we saw abused a little bit at the beginning of the game, but re-hitting for some of these college teams that maybe don't always know what to do. It's like, are we hitting A or are we hitting B? Well, it could be more complex than that. It can, be about setting up and creating options here for yourself for as far as bobbing, weaving between either side and at least leaving the middle of the map open for what could be a potential play to break things open. So, I mean, being their most played map, I'm hoping they're kind of taking things away from the CDL teams and challengers to be able to implement that in towards their own gameplay.
Well, let's look like we're having a couple of tech problems getting this match started. So instead of us continuing to blabber on, we'll send things just to a brief intermission. We'll come back as soon as the map is ready to go for us. So don't go too far. Map 2, Moscow Search between Chattanooga and LSU right after this.
No one can buy a kill. Clay gets another. Seems good for now. Mac finds another kill. There is less than 20 seconds remaining.
Over to left, player life. I'm about to go prone and chow ladder. We did on tail ladder.
Push it back.
One shot. Okay. I'm staying down time.
Dashy, ASD, Dashy.
Staying on time.
ASD, Dashy. Look at ASD.
Is you, Clay?
One shot. I'm trying to run.
Okay. Oh, no.
No contest. Still 2 seconds on the clock. You gotta go, baby. You gotta go. NYSL.
What? Counterfeit. Guess it from the thought of it. People fake. Think they need to start a kid. Tryna be real. This right here to start a kid. Pick the grind. Look like I just started it. Counterfeit. Guess it from the thought of it.
Started from the mud, now you see us going up. Numbers never lie, now you see us blowing up. People used to front, now you see them showing up. So what's up? I've been down and out, but look, I'm trying to get where I'm going, but haters be trolling, that's what they.
I feel like a little kid on Christmas, man. Come on. This really is the box of glory, bro. I feel good, man. Bro, it has the Dallas Empire engraved on it. I don't know if you guys can see this, but like, this is a beauty, man. It really is. See, this is the type of things that I play for, man. It's not about the money, it's about, you know what I'm saying, man. I think you guys know what I'm saying. This is great for me. It truly is. It has my name written in it. I have 3 words. I'm grateful, and that is all I can really say.
was building on the lecture. Verses coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme. The true stock trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking one shot for the kill. The breeze cut, freeze up, straight dropping the chills. I'm talking taking over pieces and shares. A bomb big sky high. Check the movement is here. Yeah. It's one heart, one shot. Now the future is yours. Go. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark to motivate and make the industry shake. You put the bars in the brakes. I'm talking one chance at best, yes. Painting pictures for the culture, keep the brushes fresh. Flip the cover with the drummer, passion never rests. Freedom is a teacher under pressure, now we blessed. See, I was so good.
Welcome back, everybody. We're jumping on in. Sorry for the delays, but we're good to go here. Moscow search and destroy and well visions. Chattanooga, they say no more waiting. They want to go fast. But the problem is nobody actually checks over to Eskies. First 2 kills good for LSU. Stafford also playing by the brick side has found a third. That just comes down to a very quick 1v3 situation for C-Bones.
Yeah, they might be listening to the stream and saying, all right, these guys are telling us to pick it up. Let's get through with the aggression. The problem, well, it doesn't really come with enough coordination, enough trades to really kind of make it worth their while. And it was a nice play, I feel like, for LSU Purple, splitting the map, coming up the middle, and attacking through Eskies at the same time, hitting this angle here is what leads toward the numbers advantage them to come out on top of the round.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, I'm just going to say it. I miss having smokes.
Like, don't we all, Alan?
You remember back in December when we saw hits like that and it was like, okay, like we're gonna hit escalators, so what are we gonna do? Smoke out the bricks. Yeah, they don't have that. It's so tough. But to be fair, I mean, round 1, no trophies are going to be available, so
that's right.
Honestly, Chattanooga needs to be a little bit better with their nades if they're going to be set playing over through Eskies like that. But now it's going to be up to LSU to do the exact same thing, but they have gotten a little bit further forward. Slim trying to hold on inside a lobby. Will be cut down. Oh, not like that. Abel going to get completely turned around, and it comes down to another quick 1v3. This time for Trips. The result still the same, though.
All right, Alan cast the rounds. I wrap them up. So for round number 2, this one is just, again, what we kind of expected, right, for LSU to come through with aggression and look to use their numbers. Well, once they find this first blood, right, they're able to bob and weave and then just isolate players because they don't exactly have a stack here and kills aren't coming back on towards them. So when you're never trading any of these kills, I mean, you're just giving them so much room to back up, get the regen, move back in towards the side with a stack, with a duo, whatever it is, you use the numbers. And they've now done that here twice to be able to come out. And I'm expecting UTC to say, all right, let's go to B. Let's try and see if we can get something going here. Maybe find a first blood so we can create an advantage of our own.
Got to do something here, right? I mean, 2 kills in 2 rounds, obviously not going to be good enough. LSU are going to be more stacked defensively over towards A, but Petrov is the one who is going to be trying to find the information on this hit potentially for Chattanooga to be, and he has seen the information. Look how hard the Tigers are committing to this. I mean, all 4 members relinquished the A site, and the problem really here for UTC is they're going to commit the bomb for. This is so passive. You have to come away with the first blood, and that will not be the case. It's going to be Petrov over through the street side for the first, and Abel's going to have to put it back out of the situation, but it comes at a pretty steep cost, a 2v4 situation early.
And big kill could come through there. Trips gets the trade, but what do you know? Third 1 versus 3 in a row here. And it would also have to be an ace for Trips with only about 30 seconds left. They're all collapsing in the middle. I mean, maybe he gets good timing, turns to his right, and collects 2 here for himself. Just a matter of here. Oh, maybe that does happen. It almost did. Gets there, finds the shots, but again, just not enough to bring home a round. And that's 3 straight convincing rounds in a row.
It's just, you know, you talk about Petrov's position. This is not a day 1 strategy. Well, if not a day 1 strategy, it's a day 2 strategy. Put an AR in that middle cutout window, and then you could safely read the information because, again, there's no smokes. How many players do you see making the hit over towards B? He reads at least a couple. Apparently enough for LSU to commit to rotating over, and then Petro just goes immediately from the middle of the map over towards the backside of the boulevard. It's not an unfamiliar strategy, but UTC get caught nonetheless, and now they find themselves down bad 0-3. And now it comes down to, can they even find, like you mentioned, just a first blood? Get something going for them here. Stafford on 4 in a row, looking for a 5th, comes across. The statue almost turns onto Trips, but It will be UTC with the first 3 kills, looking good for their first round overall.
Yeah, that was actually a really big mistake. That trophy system didn't go over the wall, hit right before. So because of that, they just aren't able to block the stuns and the nades. And I mean, Petrov here, well, almost makes it look flashy, but it doesn't matter. But because of that, the stuns and the nades come through, and they actually coordinate a hit together. 3 of them are dedicated towards the site, and we'll see it again, right? You can see the stuns coming out. Trips hits this angle. He has his teammates beside him. It's a big double kill to come away with, and just because of that trophy system not coming down, maybe it plays a bit of a difference because that first gunfight comes through. But finally, UTC, they find some favor, and they're able to get themselves at least a round in map 2.
Can they find any offensive success, though, is the real question, because we've obviously seen for LSU Purple, their first real strategy over towards A was good. And that would bode well for stringing together multiple rounds in the future. But this time, how about it? The Mocs are going to keep 2 players mid-map. Slim finding first blood on an over-aggressive peek from Critical means that now Trips can move forward. And if he looks to his left, Petrov is completely caught pretty much on his lonesome, but instead checks the SP, finds the second elimination, but there is a trade at long range from Martini, but Petrov trying to clear more space, gets caught, looking the wrong direction, and now it's a 1v3 for Martini.
Well, fourth 1v3 this time for Martini. What he got for us? Not even the first one. Managed to land a lot of the first shots, but in kind of the lower body, so not able to bring that one home. UTC COD finally able to find some favor, and well, it's been by spreading out over towards B, starting to change a couple of their strategies up, and working well to not only balance the patience with the aggression, but also find the trades that was critically missing from the start of the game.
3 kills in a row now for Slim as well. Just down around. What's LSU Purple have in store? Looks like it's going to be something over towards B, at least initially. 4-member stack through mid. Okay, a lot of responsibility here for C-Bones. He's not going to have the ability to back out. He's not even looking to his right. Now he will. Doesn't like the look of it or the sound of it. Will back away. And the timing, he must have had Spidey sense tingling for sure. Shaky shots, but still locks down the first blood onto Stafford. Help is also here. Slim just above finding the second kill. And now it comes down to a 2v4 situation in LSU. They've lost the bomb.
Yeah, the bomb's in an awful position. You need a big play out of Martini here or his counterpart Critical. And Critical, one of the top performers on this roster. For him, maybe a chance to get something going. Martini with 1, tries to slip away. And well, it's going to be Critical drop. So now Martini with an ace. And well, he does get 2 out of the 4. Bomb still in a tough spot, but he's got a Krig. He's got a 74 unit to work with. And he's got now information on towards Slim.
I mean, he got 10 in a row in the hard point. Getting 4 in a row should be no problem, right?
Sounds all right.
If only. 22 seconds to play. Still no bomb. He knows that Slim is up top. Not sure which window. Hassan in. C-Bone's waiting for him. Easy cleanup. And UTC come back with 3 rounds in a row. Okay, so, you know, I have to appreciate the fact that they're coming out with some aggression here in the search and destroy, but very wisely, they kind of restrained themselves after losing the first 3 rounds, and it's panned out beautifully for them.
Listen, it's just slow starts for them across map 1 and map 2, where they just maybe can't really kind of get things going their way. But once they get a little bit in, halfway through is what we see here is when they maybe start to at least figure things out and get an idea of how they want to play. So it's just a matter of almost finding that zone just a little bit sooner, and they could maybe be even more successful. But this is a great start. 3 straight, a chance for 4. They're moving right in towards the site here at A. Last time it looked a lot better. We'll see if that'll happen again for them. Then they work for the first kill. They're reading. They are adapting. That play's happened a couple of times, but there will be a trade. But it goes the way of UTC COD for now in the 3 versus 2.
How about Trips? Really poor performance from him on the Garrison hardpoint. 9 in 5 through what is now the 7th round. Really good stuff for him. Able, not confident they can get the bomb planted. And wait a second here. With them not planting, this hit from the long flank from LSU could be very successful. Trips caught out, completely denied. Any exit, Petrov finding the kill. They also know that C-Bones is towards the left side of the bricks. The bomb has been planted, 2v2 situation. C-Bones over the top will find the next kill, leaving Critical by himself. And C-Bones should know that Critical's playing on this back staircase as well.
Critical still without a kill. And you can see how badly he wants one, but they're not coming to you, buddy. You got to go to them. I think he's now realizing this, as information might have just been given over. There's the challenge. 15 seconds left. Trying to read the second. Not the case. 74U in from behind is there. And, well, UTC COD, they are absolutely bringing it. 4 rounds for them. They're looking a lot more solid now in Search and Destroy.
Yeah, really good stuff from Trips here on the opening. Good read on the second player over the top of the handlebars. Handrails? Handlebars? Definitely not handlebars. No bikes. Handrails is what we're going for. Top of Eskies, though, regardless. 9 and 6 for him. It's at one point in time, late into the hard point, there's more kills in the search than he had in that hard point. So a really big bounce back for him here. And a 1-round advantage. I mean, last time, like we mentioned, these two teams played each other, went to round 11.
Did.
And, you know, now we're starting to see maybe why, because UTC have really come to life, winning 4 of their last 5 rounds. This is what's not going up all that well, though, for them, is it? Abel, Slim, Trips all dropping simultaneously. It leaves C-Bones in a 1v4 situation. He's not going to have any clue that Petrov is too much.
Nope. No, he is not. And there is a clean round you needed, because it was LSU Purple. If you remember, guys, that found 3 rounds straight. Well, just lost 4 in a row. But this play, I mean, Abel, you got to win that one, and he doesn't. Just good shots coming right over. Able to bring home that one. Stafford for a couple of key kills to make sure that they do take control of that site, and that's exactly what they come in there and do. So tying things up 4-4. Now a massive swing round here in round number 9. LSU Purple on the attack. And we'll see, UTC on the attack, seeing exactly if they will try to go back to what's been working for them over towards A, which has been the aggression the last couple of rounds, working and baiting out the middle of the map. But instead, it's slowing things down here for us, Alan, bringing the bomb towards the middle and giving themselves options to either side.
This is going to be a head fake. UTC is going to try to make a little bit of noise here in the middle and see if maybe they can rotate LSU Purple through the A site. Number 1 of Abel is actually sitting behind a bench right on top of what normally would be the 3rd hard point. This is his only responsibility. See if you can rotate somebody over towards this staircase or over towards Eskies for a first blood. But to be honest, UTC is not making any noise in the middle of the map, so no one's going to check this. And it's on to Abel to hopefully find the head of Stafford, but not going to happen. Too powerful of a position. LSU find first blood, and not a lot of time here for the Mocs to make a play.
Oh, I mean, I would really like to see them all get together in the middle of the map, because hitting this from your side when you don't have control of A, that is not a good time. And, well, now you've opened things up. Slim with a very pivotal kill is maybe going to open up this D site. So I do like this. They do unfortunately lose Slim, but this is still a winnable round. They're going to get this bomb down. It's really going to be up to Trips and C-Bones to come away with an offensive round, as it will get planted. And now LSU Purple on the retake.
Oh, he's going to play this from apartment windows. This is really dicey. Because honestly speaking, if you're going to retake the bomb site, if you're LSU, you're probably going to double chow this area. So Trips has to find at least one. C-Bone's working around the boulevard. Critical to his right, not going to get the kill. Just calms down to Stafford. And he's playing this aggressively. He could try to play off the clock here. He's got a really good look at where the bomb is. There's the first kill. There's that double chow I mentioned. The second one is good. Wants the third, but no. Could not get away in time to let the clock be the win condition. LSU Purple will get the elimination, get the bomb defused, and put themselves on map point.
I'm not gonna lie, Alan. I thought for a second 3 were coming in. I mean, they're 1-by-1 chows. He does get tagged up, but we'll see it again. Like, it was pretty damn close. First one, no problem, takes no damage. Here, not even actually a shot. So this was a very doable round. I mean, he was able to get in there if that slide just a second sooner to come through on maybe what could have been a camera angle advantage for him as he slides into that doorway. That could have been 3, but just not there. An important clutch-up round, however, for the side of LSU Purple to come away with this one. And now this puts them 1 away from closing things out, as they're going to make their way over towards the A site here once again.
Aggression coming through. UTC will not meet this. They've only got 2 players here in Stafford. He's on 4 in a row, just wants to go aggressive, really feeling the hot hand. Not sure if he wants to plant for the bomb, trying to make a play for the trophy. First blood comes through. That's over towards Bricks. That seems to be enough space for LSU to say, let's get the bomb planted. Abel hasn't it all. I would have loved to have had that elimination, but he's going to have help. C-Bone's on the retake from Eskies. Maybe try to pick apart a couple of the players that have pushed into the lobby. Of which here's the first, finds the elimination, 2v2. Critical play in the back stairs. Going to be able to find the trade. It comes down to Slim. 1v2 situation to try to keep the map alive, and maybe the hopes of the Mocs.
It's got to go quick, too. Coming down to the final 18 seconds. You just don't have the time to be able to come back this way. And I think Slim now realizing it, he's going to find himself the first gunfight. And, well, it doesn't even go his way. LSU Purple They lost 4 rounds straight after going 3-0 up, but they make the adjustments themselves. They get back into it. They're able to close this one out, go 2-0 up here in this best of 5.
It's so tough, man, because you mentioned it. It just feels like Chattanooga, a little bit of a slow start, getting their legs underneath them versus a very tough opponent when it comes to LSU Purple. It's just so many close moments that one more kill, one good first blood could have potentially swung some of these rounds in favor of Chattanooga, but not the case here. So 2-0 up as you see the 250-134, then the round 10 6-4 win for LSU has them in a very comfortable spot, as we'll be going to a break and coming back to talk about Garrison Control for map number 3 right after this.